Hello, guys. It's officially Halloween, and that means someone's going home. Who will it be? Well, they've already gone, they've already been interviewed, and the house has fallen into carnage. Will it be Olivia, Dylan, or Carrie? Well, we'll find out later on in the episode. So let's start with the Halloween costumes that they all had to wear, and some of them had better costumes than others. Paul was a devil, that felt quite fitting. Dylan was a bloody chef, which is how people have been describing him on Twitter. Noki was a nun. Carrie was like a mummy wrapped in bandages. That was quite cool. Henry was a pumpkin, and there was a really, really funny moment where he kicked off about being a pumpkin, and he was like, "Pumpkins aren't even scary," and it just makes me it reinforces my belief that Henry is actually a very valuable asset to this house, and definitely should have remained over Zach, who was giving nothing. Yinrun was a clown, and I have to say, her clown, like, she was in the diary room, and she was, like, pretending to be a clown, and my god, I felt so, uncomfortable, and it was just creepy, and it just felt weird and gross and icky and So yeah, not a massive fan of that, if I'm being 100% honest, but she did look incredible, and on a different level, she was actually a very, 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 very creepy clown. Jordan was a vampire. I think Olivia was like a dead cheerleader. I think I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to remember the others. Chanel was a witch. Jenkin was a skeleton. Tom was the Grim Reaper. I think that's everyone. Oh, and Trish. I actually don't know what Trish was. I think she was meant. I thought it was Batman at first, but I think it was like a witch vampire. I don't know. I actually don't know. Her costume was not as clear as some of the others were. So let's talk about all the challenges that we had in this episode. So first of all, we had Yinrun, Jenkin, and Tom. They had to sit around a table. They had to place their hands on the table, and they weren't allowed to take them off. If they took them off, they'd fail the challenge. And then this clown came out of nowhere. I've been assured that this clown was somebody that was back on like the Channel 4, Channel 5 days. Obviously I didn't watch it as religiously back then. But it was cool that they were kind of making references back to other eras of Big Brother, which was quite cool. And they all passed. I don't think that there was enough of a scare factor or enough to make them take the hands off the table. It reminds me of like when the Sidemen did the exact same kind of thing, and like there were some genuinely horrendous things that happened to them. Whereas like just having a clown walk around the table was not exactly the most not entertaining, but the most sort of interesting way to get them to take their hands off. I think that this whole shopping task was very much designed to be easy because of the surprise eviction. Like the surprise eviction was sort of the main reason behind this shopping task, and the shopping task, they were going to give them the luxury budget, whatever, because obviously of the havoc that they caused. The second challenge saw Jordan and Chanel go apple bobbing in fish guts, and oh god, it was disgusting. Like genuinely, it was uncomfortable to watch. And then Chanel counted only 9 fish, so Jordan had to go back in his barrel, searching around, and then Chanel finally counted one more time, and apparently there were 10 fish in there after all. Oh, it was so funny. Like, genuinely, they outdid themselves with this Halloween episode. It was the most entertaining episode of the series so far. It had everything from arguments to an exit to, like, really funny moments. It was just the perfect episode of Big Brother that we've seen so far this season. The third challenge saw the remaining housemates, aside from Olivia, Dylan, and Carrie. So I think it was Trish, Matty, Paul, Henry, Nocky. Those 5 were taken into a room and there were hellholes in there. So essentially a hellhole is you stick your hand in and there'll be something in there, and then they had to like find a number that was in there somewhere and then add all the numbers up to get a total at the end. Nocky put her hand in and it was just like a little toy mouse, which was quite funny, but she was acting like it was real because she kept moving it and thinking it was moving, and that was just so funny to watch. Matty had a wet mop handle, which was incredible. He kept on screaming and shouting. Paul had what did Paul have? I know Henry had a sponge, but Henry also got his number wrong, and Trish had an actual live hand, which was really bloody creepy. Like someone's actual hand was just grabbing her, but she handled it the best out of everyone. Paul had a ball of yarn. That was what he had. So essentially they failed this challenge because Henry got the wrong number. I don't know. I feel like I would have got everyone to do it at least twice just to make sure, but it's not the end of the world. It is what it is. There's not really much you can do, and like I said, they were going to win this challenge regardless because they'd won 2 out of 3 of the challenges. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, really, really quick before we get into the eviction, I wanted to point out that Jordan actually did hear Trish leaving in the middle of the night. And he also heard Nocky leaving in the middle of the night or something along the lines of that. And Trish did her best to, like, worm her way out of it. But I wonder whether Big Brother took this as they didn't do it effectively enough. They didn't do it secretly enough because they were noticed that they were gone. So I don't know. That might be why Big Brother did what they did, but it is what it is. So Dylan, Olivia and Carrie were brought to a room, room 101, and there was a coffin, and they were essentially told that they were up for a shock eviction. And I've got to say, Olivia looked pissed, Dylan looked pissed, Carrie looked quite peaceful actually, and I'll talk more about Carrie in a second, but it was really interesting to see all 3 of them sort of wonder what their challenge would be when in fact we knew they were going to be up for eviction. So just things like that really make me like entertained, because I'm sitting there and they're like, we don't know what's going to happen, and I'm like, oh, you actually don't know, you genuinely don't know. So they did something that was a little bit questionable, Big Brother that is, and they revealed that Nocky and Trish were the ones who had nominated the housemates. And this was interesting because Nocky was doing her best Oscar award-winning acting when, like, they were being shown the eviction on the big screen, and Nocky was doing her best acting, like, oh my god, no, what do you mean? It was pretty bad, I won't lie. However, it was very entertaining. And then Big Brother turned around and did her dirty and then revealed that her and Trish were the ones that put them up for nomination. Now, this is where things get complicated because everyone started to be a little bit upset with them. And actually, let's not talk about that yet. Let's talk about who left. This is the second time this season that I've said that the viewing public are morons. Why would you vote Carrie out now? She's been bringing so much drama and entertainment and making so many iconic moments throughout the series. And I feel like people are too hung up on what she said and did in the first 2 weeks. When, let's face it, the worst thing that she did was just dismiss Matty when he was talking about eating disorders. Yeah, it's not great. It's not the best. But, we have genuine villains in the house now. Genuine people who are not very nice people. I don't believe that Carrie's a nasty person. I don't believe that at all. I think that Twitter has created a narrative and they've run with it and they're only seeing what they want to see. And it is frustrating because I sit there and I am entertained by Carrie. Not all the time. I can admit when she's done something wrong. She, like I said, in week 2, if she'd have been nominated, I would have happily seen her go. But the last week and this week so far, I've really enjoyed having her, and I feel like she's taken it on the chin that everyone's kind of ranting and screaming her name out at the evictions. She got upset that Farida was trying to plant seeds of doubt in people's mind. And then when it came to her being announced as getting evicted, she took it so well. She was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And she specifically said the words, don't be mad at them. They had to do it. And it really hit home the fact that, oh, damn, I think that we've just been seeing what the producers want us to see of Carrie, not necessarily who Carrie is. And I'm gutted. I'm going to be honest. Out of the 3 of them, Carrie was the one I wanted to leave the least, because out of the 3, she was my favourite. And I think Dylan should have left. And this is the problem with the public keeping Dylan in, is now he's got a fucking complex and he thinks that he's the nation's sweetheart and he's everyone's favourite cooking chicken person. So it's just a case of everyone needs to be a little bit more careful with how they vote, because this is how people react when they end up winning. Apparently, the group heard that Dylan was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring fire when I go back in there. I want to know what their problem is, etc., etc." And so Trish, knowing that energy was coming, matched that energy when he came back in. And you know what? He lost my sympathy immediately when he walked in and he was like, "Hey yo, what's with the black on black crime," or whatever that fucking statement was. And I just thought, really, that's what you're leading with. You don't want to have a serious conversation, you want to cause an argument, because immediately Trish is going to leap up and she's going to have a go, and she did. And I gotta say, we've seen Trish handle confrontation quite maturely, and I felt like, yes, she did lose her rag a little bit, but she still walked out of that situation looking better than Dylan did. And I will fight that to the death, because Trish, like, he was calling her all sorts of things, and then she just responded by calling him the same things. I think at one point she was like, take the L, you put up for eviction, take the L. And I was just like, damn, Trish, how can you slay so hard right now? Like, currently Trish is the person I want to win this series. If she doesn't win, it's rigged, but it is what it is. But genuinely, she is such an interesting and exciting person, and Dylan is just such a miserable fucker that I would rather see booted out the house immediately. So yeah, I'm just kind of sick of it at the moment, and had enough, if I'm being honest, of Dylan. Like I said, she carried herself really, really well, and I think she called him a fake bad boy at one point, which was so funny, and it was just nice to see him get humbled. However, there's a faction forming that I'm not enjoying, and it's... who is it? It's Olivia, Paul, Dylan, and it might be Tom. I can't remember. But either way, the 3 of them are not very nice people now, because they've just kicked off. And even after Trish and Noki explained themselves, and Trish explained that she nominated Olivia, Noki eliminated. Trish voted or put Olivia up for eviction. Noki put Dylan up for eviction, and then they both put Carrie up together. They were still going on about, well, you should have, like, to Noki. And I was like, listen, Noki wanted to respect the fact that Trish said, I don't want Olivia here. It's not a case of my feelings. And then, this was the most aggravating part, was Paul turned round to Noki and called her fake to her face after she had spent the night defending him and asking Trish not to put him up for eviction. I actually could not believe my eyes when I just heard that, because I thought, Paul, you're a nasty little man. I was just going to say something else there. But, like, I got to say, I'm a little bit protective over Noki. Like, my issue with nominations this week, nominations are, like, as we're currently sitting here, they've happened, and we're going to find out the nominations tonight. So they're doing an eviction, back-to-back nominations, which is crazy. So I'm really interested to see who's going up for eviction, because there's going to be half of the house that are very, very aware that Dylan and Paul are problems in this house now. And the other half are going to want to vote up Trish and Noki, and it's going to be carnage, because there's going to be people up for eviction that deserve to be and don't deserve to be, and I don't trust the British public anymore. I don't trust them. This is why I really dislike how Big Brother works in the UK. I don't think that the public should vote at all. I think the housemates should vote. And that's why I like the American version. There's no public input, and therefore there's not stupid choices made, like eliminating or evicting Hallie and Carrie when they were the entertainment of the house. So, like, it does frustrate me, because there's a double eviction on Friday. Yep, a double eviction. That means 2 people are going home. And I'm really scared that Trish is going to be one of them. I don't want her to be one of them, because I think she is one of the most genuine people in the house. And I think she's a lovely, lovely person. Like, I would love to be friends with her in the outside. However, I think the public are going to want to get rid of her. And I absolutely despise that. That's why I think they should bring back Vote to Save, because you best believe I would have voted to save Carrie, and I would have not given any of my votes to Dylan. But voting to evict, you get spiteful little nasty people who don't even watch the show voting just because they're spiteful and they're nasty. It's just currently a little bit of a mess. I've only got 2 iconic moments from this episode, because let's be honest, the whole episode was pretty iconic. But the ones I noticed were Henry using the word energy and then saying that he'd spent too much time with Matty and Trish. I thought that was quite a funny moment. And the second moment was when Noki was talking to Big Brother, and she said she's nervous and she's had 4 poos that day. It was another really, really funny moment. And I don't know what's happened. I think Noki might have found some more sort of... She's already quite confident, but I think she's found the confidence to just be funny. I don't know whether it's something to do with the editing, because she's been a main character in the last 2 episodes, but I've really, really enjoyed her. She hasn't been sidelined by the editing team, which is great. So that is all we've got time for. Carrie was the 4th evicted housemate, and it sucks because I really enjoyed having her in the house. I thought she handled herself perfectly in her Late and Live interview. I thought, in fact, the whole Late and Live episode was really, really good, and I'd love to see Carrie as a panelist, because I thought she delivered some really interesting insight. I was very grateful that the crowd didn't boo her, because, like I said, I don't think she deserves to be booed, and I think people are believing that now, believing me when I say that, because they're realising that there are other evil forces in the house. Carrie was like the decoy villain. She was like... How do I describe this? She's almost like the level 1 boss before you get to like the level 5 boss. Do you know what I mean? Like, the level 1 boss is not as evil as the level 5 ones. That's the best way I could describe it. However, I just really liked her exit interview. It was lovely to see Hallie there as well. I think just get them... I think they should have the evicted housemates on every show. Like, just so they can give their opinions and things like that. But... it is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for week 4 nominations. You guys have been great with your support on the channel. Make sure to keep hitting that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Bye now. Keep on ranting.